So hello and welcome to the UCI BMX Racing World Cup from Santiago del Estero in Argentina. It's round number 5 of 6 rounds of this year's World Cup, and we are in this amazing city that is in the subtropical paradise, right in the heart of the South American continent. The track laid out with some absolutely amazing features, and we'll go into detail on those in a short while. But let's take a little bit of a look at the area where we are here today. Well, Santiago del Estero, it is 1,040 kilometres north of Buenos Aires on the 28th parallel. So think level with Johannesburg in South Africa, with Brisbane in Australia. But this is a real mix of cultures all blended together into a vibrant and eclectic and electric heart that really does beat in the centre of Argentina. Some amazing architecture, a real fusion of the traditional and the modern, and of course a city that has got sport at its heart and BMX here, with so many rounds of the World Cup coming over the years. And this track, well, it is an absolutely astounding track, bathed in sunshine, 33 degrees and climbing at the moment. The wind, and absolutely typical for the month of September, 11 kilometres an hour, which is absolutely nothing really. It's about 7-8 miles an hour for those of you that work in Imperial. Rich beside me. Rich, do you work in Imperial or in kilometres an hour?
It depends what day of the week it is, Matt, you know, on how fast I'm going on the motorway.
Okay, I was going to thought you were about to say how fast you were going on the bike there.
Hola a todos, soy Fede Villegas, estamos acá en Santiago del Estero. We are onto the third straight for the men's side. You come out of the second straight very quick, and then you have these 3 gaps, and you got to be very precise on them to get that next gap in. But yeah, these 3 gaps are going to be key for the race. You can see here how the future of the BMX in Argentina is working. We have a 1-year-old probably riding the track already, so yeah, it's very nice to have fun and look at all these kids ride. Here we have the last straight. As you can see, this table tour is very high. As you see, the finish line is right there, but you got to get this first jump well done first, and yeah, it's definitely a key factor to race. Gracias a todos por mirar. La verdad que estamos muy contentos de tener la Copa del Mundo en Argentina de vuelta. Vamos a Argentina.
Well, really great to see that preview on the track there, Rich. And one of the real key things about the track is precision and actually controlling the speed so that you actually get the drive off, particularly on the backside of those jumps. So the riders have got to get that nailed. We've got our previous winners of round 4 on screen. They're all riders who have that control.
Yeah, they do. They have that control, and as Federico was saying in the track preview, you know, it's very important to get the backside of each jump, to get the drive, to hit it, the downslope perfectly, to give you the boost into the next jump.
Well, Michelle Vissing has definitely been doing that. I mean, what a score. 4 wins out of 4, and that World Champs jersey. Then we got Bethany Shriver, who's currently in that battle. It's a fantastic battle in the women's elite. 5 riders, top 5 riders who are here, plus Man and Vinstra, all potentially with a chance of taking away the win in that elite women's competition. It's going to be a real battle in that elite women's fight. So I think let's take a look at where our riders are. So let's take a look at the standings at the end of round 4. Coming here to round 5 in the women's elite, Saya Sakakibara, one rider who hasn't had a win. We've actually had different winners at every single round. We've had 6 different riders on the podium, but Saya Sakakibara, despite leading in the points table, not taking a win so far. Sakakibara, along with Simpson, Clayson, Smulders and Shriver and Veenstra, could all potentially, mathematically, with a third of the season left, take away the top of the standings. But Saya Sakakibara is going to be wanting to take that away. Would she be your pick for today?
Certainly she's going to be right up there, Saya Sakakibara, you know, the Olympic champion. She's won races here. She wraps up the title here in 2023, so Saya knows exactly what to do to win on this track here in Argentina.
So very, very interesting to see that she has got such a great, so she's got such great palmares, and yet not taking the win this season. Never had a win this season. When we go to the men's standings, we've got some real battles, and it's a similar situation in the under 23 men with Jason Norden basically untouchable. But then when we go to the elite men, Sylvain Andre, Arthur Pilard, Cameron Wood, all could take away victory. Mathematically, so could Eddie Clerté, Rico Bierman, and Simon Marquardt, if, you know, there was an alien abduction of everybody else and he scored maximum points in 2 rounds. It's possible.
Yeah.
It's doable, even if it's not likely. Andre, though, will have something to prove here.
Yeah, absolutely. Sylvain Andre, you know, he suffered a career-threatening injury here at Santiago del Estero in 2023, and he wants to put an exclamation point on his 2025 season by, you know, putting the demons to bed here at the track that almost cost him his career.
Well, it's definitely a track that can punish you if you get it wrong. It's a track that will reward if you get it right. Everybody's going to want to go away from round 5 into round 6 on a high, and that mental game is such a strong part of all sport, all elite sport, but particularly it's very, very important that you get it absolutely dialed when you come to a World Cup and a World Championship. So let's get ourselves underway. The men's under 23 semi-finals will be coming up very shortly indeed. It's a really packed race field. Yeah,
it's a packed race field. You've got Thomas Matarano in there. He's been absolutely on fire in some of the earlier rounds. Former European champion Matty Jacquet in there as well. James Cutter-Williams, who's been on great form, and also the likes of Santiago Santamoreno as well.
Hola, I'm Sylvain Andre, Olympic silver medalist from France, and we're here in Santiago del Estero for the last rounds of the UCI World Cup season. This year I made the final twice because of the last race, got on the podium twice because of passing people. So obviously you're tired, but that's where the mental shift needs to happen. When there's somebody in front of you that you want to pass or you better pass, I think it gives everybody, me included, an extra boost of adrenaline. And sometimes you feel like completely fresh going into last race and completely empty 5 seconds after that, which is after the finish line, which is kind of weird, but it's basically what we trained for. I love it. me siento bien, me siento bien. Soy el número uno del ranking por el momento. It's actually a position I've been in before because here was 2017 where I first won the overall title, and I was leading going into here. So I kind of know the situation, which is I think a strength. Right now I'm 32. When I turned professional, the top guy, they would retire by 28, 30. And even if you ask me last year before the Olympic Games, I thought it was done after the race. I was like, yeah, next week might be done. And now I really see myself in 3 years in 28. I don't see why I would stop. As I'm getting closer to the end of my career, winning the overall means you're consistently at the very top. I'm not young, but I'm still there always. So yeah, that would really mean that consistency is still there, even if I'm turning 33 in 2 weeks.
Well, getting old is getting younger one way or another. Sylvain Andre very much with the point correct there. He's the only rider not to be off the podium this season. 3 third places, taking a win in round number 2. Nobody else has been able to match that consistency and actually be on the podium at every single round so far, Rich. And you wouldn't put it past him to do this. He's in the prime spot. He's here for the last 2 rounds in Santiago del Estero.
Yeah, it seems like 30 is the new 20 in BMX, and as Sylvain Andre is, he loves to race, and that's exactly what he's going to do.
Well, let's take a little bit of a look back to somewhere that was maybe not quite so sunny to start off with. Back at Papendal for round number 4.
Yeah, round 4 in Papendal, superb track. It's an absolute stalwart of the World Cup scene, and as they headed down towards that line, surprise, surprise, there was a French rider out in front, Eddie Clerté, just going across and taking that particular semi-final lap. Jamie O'Brink, Simon Marquardt and Sylvain Andre rounding out the top 4. And as we moved towards the second of those semi-finals, Ross Cullen of Great Britain out there on the outside, Cameron Wood on the inside. So much horsepower on this gate as they headed down the hill towards turn number 1. And Ross Cullen of Great Britain certainly had what it took, and he just settled himself into that second spot, knew what he needed to do, qualified himself for that World Cup final. You only need to win 1 race at a World Cup, and that's the last one. Arthur Pielard taking the win, Cameron Wood coming across as they went across the line. So Pielard, Cullen, Wood and Blanc all going through to that final, and this was the point where it all counted. The final of round number 4 of the UCI BMX Racing World Cup. Ross Cullen out in gate number 8, but absolutely flying like he'd been shot out of a cannon into turn 1. Very, very impressive as he came out of the turn, and he just held it all the way down towards that line. I'm sure those legs were burning, and he was wondering when he was going to get caught down that final straight, but nobody could get near him. Ross Cullen taking his very first World Cup win at Papendal in round number 4, and look at the smiles of the rider from Preston.
Great ride by him, and breaking into those finals for the first time in the season and doing it and start taking away the win. And it was a very, very popular win from everybody. You can see there Cullen taking the win from Wood, Andre and Pilar, with Blanc, Clerté, Brink and Marquardt riding out the finals.
Yeah, then we moved on to the semi-finals for the women elite, and at this point in time it was Molly Simpson on the inside battling with Bethany Shriver into that turn. Molly Simpson, who took a win at Sarrions, which ended with her coach dyeing his hair bright red after losing the bet, and that hair was still red as they came into Papendal. But Molly taking that second spot behind Bethany. Malin Kelstrup coming in inside the top 3, and Lauren Reynolds, perennial main maker, you could pretty much put your house on it, and she came in inside the top 4. Moving on to semi-final number 2, Meryl Smulders and her sister Laura, bookending each end of that gate, but Saya Sakakibara had her eyes on the prize as they came out of that gate. Smulders on the inside, just getting pushed back that little bit, and the American rider trying to work the way in as well. But it was all about Saya Sakakibara as they came out of turn number 1. Meanwhile, Laura Smulders had worked her way into that second spot. That was Peyton Rydnor in there in 3, and the 4th place taken by the rider from Colombia. So Bethany Shriever took gate 8, just as her compatriot Ross Cullen had done in the final, and it paid off with an absolutely superb start from Bethany Shriever as she headed into that first turn, did what she had to do to overcome Saya Sakakibara, Molly Simpson and Laura Smulders. Laura Smulders was looking to add to those 28 World Cup wins that she'd already had, but it wasn't to be on this particular occasion as Bethany Shriever brought it to the line, took that win, excited as Saya Sakakibara finished second, Molly Simpson with the hug of congratulations, but Bethany Shriever getting the job done at Papendal in round number 4.
So you can see the results on your screen. Bethany Shriever taking away the win in round number 4, adding to that second place in round number 2. That put her into 5th place in the overall standings. This really has set us up for a grandstand finish with so many riders capable of being right up on the podium. In the elite women, 6 riders could take away top spot. We've got 8 riders who could take second and 8 riders that could take third. And it's a similar situation in that men's race. So time to dive down into our semi-finals. We're going to see who can make themselves so big, bold and right at the front when it comes to the line, because this is the last up on the way into those finals, and they've got to make sure they get this absolutely nailed, but not do too much in there. You don't want to burn yourself out, but you want to get yourself through and qualify. And of course, remember that gate pick is going to be dependent on where you finish in this race, so a lot at stake. Our first semi-final lined up.
Thomas Maturano of Argentina on the inside. He's got Mati Jacquet right next to him in gate number 2. I've got my eye on gate number 4 with James Cutter-Williams of the USA, but that is the 5.03 of Thomas Maturano. Already been the junior men world champion, and he put a sparkling performance in that quarter-final. Gate number 2, Mathis Jacquet of France. Production line of talent coming out of France. Let's see what happens in this semi-final. Gate drops on the first of the semi-finals. Men under 23 heading down the hill. Round 5 of the UCI BMX Racing World Cup. Once again, Thomas Maturano and Mati Jacquet 1 and 2 into the turn. Here comes Santiago Santamoreno. Oh, Maturano's gone down in a heap. James Cutter-Williams gets pushed out wide. He goes from 3rd to 5th, so it's all been mixed up. Maturano was looking so good. It all went wrong on the second straight, and he is out. But meanwhile, Mati Jacquet brings it to the line. He's going to make it through. The Colombian rider getting in there as well. I've got a feeling that was Sebastian Aguilera in there in 4, but total carnage on straight number 2, and Thomas Maturano's World Cup round number 5 is done.
Done and dusted. He's hit the deck on the way through, and that just was. You could just see the damage that had been done there. It totally changed the makeup of the race in one moment, one blink of an eye, and all of a sudden you can see Mathis Jacquet elated. So is Alexander Emil there. Let's take another look back at that.
Yeah, let's take a look, because Thomas Maturano, the stars were lining up for him. He got the start of a lifetime, came out of that turn. I don't know whether he actually overjumped or whether he just, caught his back wheel somewhere. We'll get a better idea from this shot. It looks like he overjumped slightly. The foot came out of the pedal. Down he went. James Cutter-Williams had to go emergency turn to the left-hand side. Meanwhile, out in front, Mati Jacquet was holding on to it. The Colombian rider, Palmazano Ceballos, he was in there in 2. Aguilera in there in 4. But Thomas Maturano was looking so good, and that's how BMX can change in the blink of an eye. But no such problems for Mati Jacquet.
Well, a real tough break. That's not what you want to have happen at round number 5, with another round to come on a track that you are absolutely flying. The best medics in attendance, and I'm sure he will get that best of care here. So Jacquet going through with Palmazano Ceballos, along with Alexander Emil, and then Sebastian Aguilera Cid. The 4 qualifiers making their way through from our semi-final to the final. Which 4 4 riders are going to join them. The man who's already wrapped up this series in gate number 1, Jason Nordam, has been absolutely on fire this season. Only once being deposed from the top spot and winning rounds 1, 2 and 3, and a second place in round 4 means he is right at the top, and the only other person to take a win, Joshua Jolly, not here, so it's going to really mean he's the man to beat.
Yep, Jason Nordam, speed, skill and strength. Let's see what he's got.
Random start. Riders ready, watch the gate.
So after an all-action semi-final number 1, we're on to semi-final number 2. Nordam on the inside. He's got Evan Oliveira right there with him as they go into the turn. Oh, diving underneath. That looks like Jonas Idskov of Denmark, who's worked his way into that second position. But it is Jason Nordam out in front, and the moves are still being made in the corner. Evan Oliveira's not done yet. He was in second, he went to third, and now he's looking to pull it all back. And into the final turn they go. Sayas is in there as well for Argentina. The fans are going wild. Looks like he's in that third spot. Nordam takes the win. Nordam gets it at the line. Idskov in 2, Capello in 3, Marcus left getting in 4. Olivier has gone from 2nd to 6th. There was so much going on in that lap, but Jason Nordam, business as usual for the series winner.
Look at that casual little nod there. Yep, business as usual. Thank you very much. This is what I do, and this is how I do it. Let's take a little look at that race there. As you said, so much happening all at once, but Nordam just not oblivious, just unfazed by it.
Yeah, he just had his head down. He knew where he needed to be, and Nordam was out in front. But all the action was going on behind, because Evan Olivieri was in there in second at one point. Then he got shuffled back into 4th. Everybody's trying to make moves in the final corner. Nordam brings it to the line. Idskov's in there in 2. And Marcus left, just brought it through, ended up in 4th. And we didn't think he was going to make it in. But Nordam definitely showing why he's the series champion.
So Nordam, Idskov, along with Capello and Left, the riders who go through from the second of our men's under-23 semi-finals. And remember, Marcus Left, a rider potentially, along with Mathis Jacquet, who are in the running for second place. Maturano also in the running, not going to be taking up that. So that battle is going to come down to the finals and where those riders end up. Let's move across now from the men's competition across to the women's competition. And Michelle Vissing needs to finish this race, but if she finishes it even in last place, she will take away the World Cup title to add to that World Champs jersey. She would dearly, though, love to go out on a win and make it a perfect score for the whole series, I'm sure.
Okay. Okay, riders, random start. Riders ready, watch the gate.
Semi-final number 1 for the women under 23. Michelle Vissing, the world champion, is right in there as they head towards turn number 1. And it looks like Lily Greenoff, the junior women world champion from Copenhagen, who's out in front at the moment. Vissing only needs to finish inside the top 4 to make it through to the final and have the title wrapped up. It looks like Alexis Alden is in there as well, but it's Greenoff. Vissing is making a move now as they come down towards the final turn. Patience from Michelle Vissing from 4th to 3rd to 2nd, and now out in front. The world champion brings it to the line. Michelle Vissing takes that semi-final win. Lily Greenoff in 2, Alexis Alden and Alexander Simashkina making it through the neutral athlete, but Michelle Vissing shows why she's going to be the World Cup champion.
Well, what a ride. I mean, it was like she was cruising, and then she just found that next gear, that next level, and she just went steaming past them. Not quite like this stood still, but like she just had something else there that nobody else had. It's so calm early on, not fazed by the fact that she had lots of pressure, and then, boom, turn to go, and she went.
Yeah, Lily Greenoff looked really good early doors, and Alexis Alden was in there as well, but Michelle Vissing, patience and speed. She knew where she needed to make a move. It was down that 3rd straight, worked her way through to the front of the pack and took those rainbow stripes to the line. Michelle Vissing of the Netherlands showing why she's as successful as she has been.
And certainly one of those riders who you would not want to say has got much chance of not being taking away the win here today and potentially a clean sweep of wins when she comes to 6. That's certainly going to be enough to see her crowned our champion now for the World Cup for 2025. Behind her, Lily Greenhoff, her nearest challenger, coming in immediately behind. And Greenhoff with the potential to move up into 2nd place in the series overall, which is a great result for her. But she's still got to make her way through. Up against Emily Hutt, also inside the top 5 in the series standings overall. And she'll be looking to progress through and maximise her points here.
Yep, just looking at Ava Corley of the USA, she had 2 wins here in 2023, her breakout season, so she knows what it takes to get the job done in Argentina. And the European champion Veronika Stariska out of Latvia, out in gate 8, getting ready to make her move as the 5-1-6 of Victoria Dubé in gate number 2. Doing it for Canada, she's got Ava Corley on one side and Emily Hutt on the other. Gate drops, riders are go. The second semi-final of women under 23. Oh, we've lost a rider. That looks like Ruarte of Argentina, who's hit the deck on that first straight. But Ava Corley of the USA out in front. Emily Hutt's in there in 2. Veronika Stariska in 3. So Ava Corley, who won 2 rounds here in 2023, loves this track and clearly knows how to win. Emily Hutt's right there on her back wheel. Stariska going through as well. That looks like Dominica Cordero, who's in that 4th position. She's in that final qualifying spot. Corley's under pressure now from Hutt as they get to the line. Did she hang on? Yes, she did. Ava Corley, Emily Hutt, 1 and 2. The Ecuadorian hits the ground after they cross the line, but she's made it through. Victoria Dubé, the rider, unlucky in 5.
Well, what a race, what a battle on the way through there. Corley flying through and looking like the Ava Corley that we know of old. Definitely good to see our riders back up and riding the way in through, though. They get a big round of applause. So you've got to feel for Ruarte here. It was early on that she had that issue, back up and rolling, but she'll get the applause of this fantastic crowd here.
Yeah, they'll look after their own here. Ruarte, she'll be applauded by the Argentinian fans. But let's just take a look what happened as they went down the hill. Oh, she got completely out of shape. The bike bouncing into the air. That messed up Francesca Cingolani as well, ruined her lap. That's not what you want coming down an 8-metre hill at 40 miles an hour. Meanwhile, Ava Corley on the inside, she had a breakout ride here as an 18-year-old in 2023. Flying down that 3rd straight, memories of those 2 wins probably flowing through her mind as she came out of the final corner with some pressure from Emily Hutt. Veronika Stariska in there in 3, Cordero in 4, and just a nod of the head from Victoria Dubé, who knew she was close but not close enough.
Well, Ava Corley, 32nd in the series at the moment. The best she could get here would be to move herself up into 3rd place. It is actually possible for that to happen, but she's got to take away 2 wins, and the points fall right behind for that to happen. Corley, though, with the win there, ahead of Hutt, Stariska and Maura Cordero. They the 4 riders that will move on through to our finals from our semi-finals in the women's under 23 for 2025. The semi-finals in the under-23 competition has been, it's fast, it's furious. There's always riders pushing it to the limit and finding out what their limit is, and it's constantly changing because it's such a developing age, isn't it? It's when we see riders develop, we see them move from being youngsters and moving into sort of, they become the elite rider that's almost that sort of finished package.
Yeah, the under-23 category, it's almost, now a rite of passage for these riders. They come through the juniors, and normally at one time they would step straight up into the elite ranks, and now that under-23 has given them that stepping stone. They can test their mettle, they can work out where they need to be, get the training absolutely dialed, so when they do make that jump into the elite ranks, it's not just so much of a big shock.
Yeah, it does give you that transitional period. And it's great to see the young fans down at the side there taking a little bit of a look in, watching. They've got the jerseys on. They'll be out on track. We saw in our track preview some of our youngsters, they're little and on the strider bike going down the straight. And it's great that that people engage, but we see that around the globe, wherever the World Cup goes to. I've really fond memories of being at Sérion and watching the crowds there for the rider signing when we had the wind delay, the racing, and have issues. No problems at all. The riders just sat down and they were really engaging with the youngsters, and really, you know, they're looking. They don't mind if the next rider that comes along is the next world champion, is somebody that they bring into the sport because they want the sport to be better.
Yeah, and that is the beauty of the World Cup Series. We've been to France, we've been to the Netherlands, we're in Argentina. These are all BMX hotbeds. It's where the fans are absolutely ravenous for any BMX action that they can get their hands on, anything that they can watch. Anytime they see the top riders, they treat them like absolute kings and queens, and nowhere is that more true than South America. The Argentinian fans here in Santiago del Estero, some of the most passionate, and they just absolutely love it.
Well, our under 23 women and men semi-finals all done and dusted. And next up will be our elite men and women's semi-finals. They're going to be coming your direction. The fans, I'm sure, will be glued to their seats at that point if they're not getting themselves ready to race on the way through. But great to see so many people watching the World Cup from Santiago del Estero. Round 5 of 6 rounds. We've already seen the rounds wrap up. Michelle Vissing's overall win in the under-23 women, and Jason Norder in the under-23 men. Our elites racing just a little bit more tricky to call, and I think that could come right down to the wire. Well, it's time to see who is going to be in those elite finals, who can make it through those semi-finals. So here at Santiago del Estero, round 5 of the UCI BMX Racing World Cup in this fantastic city that's a transition from the flatlands and the plains heading towards the Andes, about 150 kilometers away. It's an area of an absolute metropolis, a fantastic city, 250,000 inhabitants, and a fair few will have ridden some laps around this track in their time. On the track now, though, this is going to be our elite semi-finals. It's our men's elite semi-final, and the riders, they're in the gate.
Yep, just checking out who's in the gate there, and the fans will have memories of Gonzalo Molina in 2019 taking a famous win here at Santiago del Estero, lining up in gate number 1. The day the Argentinian fans got everything they ever wanted, a hometown winner on their home track here in Santiago del Estero. Can it happen again? Next to him, Nicolas Torres, his compatriot, another rider, superbly skilled and talented, fast, capable of making moves in those turns, like all the South American riders seem to do. And right out there on the outside, the series leader, Sylvain Andre, Olympic medalist. He loves to race. He's ready to go. Can he win the title here again, like he did in 2017?
Okay, riders, random start. Riders ready, watch the gate.
It's go, go, go in the elite men semi-final. Let's have a look who's going to make it to the turn. Sylvain Andre's working his way across. He's battling with the Argentinian rider into the turn. Oh, 1, 2, 3 riders gone down. Looks like Julian Schmidt has hit the deck. So it's Sylvain Andre in there in that second position. He's got Argentinians all around him. Federico Villegas on his home track here in Santiago del Estero. He's going to make the main event. So Molina, Andre, Villegas. That's going to be a 1, 2, 3. Who's going to pick up the final qualifying spot? Simon Marquardt's going to get it for Switzerland. Marquardt makes it through in 4. Mathis Rago Richard, the European champion, in 5. His day is done. But Gonzalo Molina, he's one step closer to repeating that famous win. But all the action is in turn number 1.
Well, absolutely. Bikes and bits all over the place. I mean, what... just so many riders coming down. It really did change the makeup of that race. Talk us through what happened, Rich, here.
Yeah, they were very even heading down the straight, and Sylvain Andre had worked his way across. I don't know if there was a touch of bars just as they went into the turn. Oh, there was the Argentinian rider clipped the air fence on the inside. That started a chain reaction, which took Bennett Greenoff and Julian Schmidt as well. So it was literally a touch of the fence on the inside of the turn that caused it. Meanwhile, Gonzalo Molina was leading into that turn. Sylvain Andre, series leader, in there in 2. Federico Villegas on his home track, making the main event. That would be a fairy tale ending if he won here. And Simon Marquardt rounding out the top 4.
Well, that just almost a touch of wheels, then onto the grass, then into the air fence, and what you've just got nowhere to go.
Yeah.
There's riders around you, you're going absolutely flat out, seat scared now, and there's nowhere to go, and it just goes so wrong so quick. But then, because of the speed, it spills through.
Yeah. Started the chain reaction, and Torres taking out Greenoff and Schmidt. Unintentionally, but that's just BMX.
It is indeed. Our first 4 qualifiers making their way through from the semi-final in the men's elite, including our series leader Sylvain Andre, doing everything right at the moment, staying out of trouble on his way into those finals. And you can just see once those riders back in, they get the applause for making their way through. Our medical team just checking out all the riders. They don't take any chances. They're always going to make sure that the riders get the best of care and the attention. And the team of commissaires, the volunteers who are here making it all happen. We've got to say a massive thank you to them all out around the world. Volunteers are the lifeblood of all cycle sport, and without them, racing and riding just doesn't happen. All those hours at the BMX club, at the BMX track, all of that time spent is all thanks to volunteers around the world. So a massive thank you to them, and of course our medic team. You can see the confirmed riders: Molina, Andre, Villegas and Marquardt going in through. Rago Richard not to be here today, but in terms of the overall, Marquardt still in with a chance, in theory, of pushing himself right the way up there. Of the top 10 riders, Andre Pillard Wood, along with Clerté, Beerman and Marquardt, they are the riders who have the most to gain here. Andre, of course, leading. He'll be looking to seal that win with a round to go. It is mathematically possible, but the maths is incredibly complicated behind because they're all so close.
Yeah, taking a look at semi-final number 2, world champion Arthur Pillard. We've got USA BMX Pro Series champion Cameron Wood in the Magnus Diary, who's hit such a rich vein of form. He's in this semi-final as well, but that is your world champion from Copenhagen 2025. Wearing the rainbow stripes, it's Arthur Pillard. Eddie Clerté in there as well. That is Cameron Wood of the USA. And Cameron, he's had wins here, round number 9 in 2023. So he's tasted the champagne on the top step of the podium. And Eddie Clerté, world number 3 and world pump track champion, out there in gate number 5. So semi-final number 2 is absolutely stacked. Champions of all descriptions. Let's see.
Okay, riders, random start. Riders ready, watch the gate.
Second semi-final, heads down the hill. Pillard on the inside. Let's have a look. He's working their way across from the outside. Molina's trying to get involved. He's there in about 5th at the moment. Cameron Wood diving underneath in that first turn, going from 4th to 2nd. So Clerté, Pillard, Eberhard, Cameron Wood all in there. Molina's making moves now. Molina up into 4. And he's, the Argentinian rider slides out. That was De La Fuente who hit the deck. His lap is done. So Pillard, Wood, 1 and 2. Molina in there in 4. That looks like Eddie Clerté in there in 3. Got slightly out of shape as they came out of the turn. Clerté makes it in. Pillard, Wood, Clerté, Molina all going through. Eberhard in 5th. Rico Beerman in 6th. But Pillard certainly looking good as he makes the final.
So Arthur Pillard, the man, 2nd place in the series overall. Cameron Wood, 3rd place in that series, going through 1 and 2. Eddie Clerté currently 7th in the series. He's going to be moving his way up through by making that final, adding to that points total. Still incidents in here. De La Fuente, the rider, not coming through to finish for Argentina.
Yeah, and as they came in and out of that turn, Eddie Clerté just pushed wide to the outside. Molina was making moves, and it was as they came out of turn number 2 that De La Fuente hit the deck. Pillard looking good and in control. Cameron Wood right there with him. Molina was there in 4, and Eberhard did have any time or space to make up that position to get inside the top 4. So the Chilean rider makes it into the final. Eberhard just floating his way to the line. He knows he's going to have to come back in the final round of the season to see if he can make another World Cup final. There's your confirmed results. Maurizio Molina, Eddie Clerté, Cameron Wood and Arthur Pilard making the final here at round number 5 of the UCI BMX Racing World Cup in Argentina. And we'll see them in the final a little bit later on.
So 8 fantastic riders into the final. Enough of those riders, certainly the top 3 riders in the series overall in that elite men's competition. That means that is going to come down to the wire. Probably come down to our last round. Oh, we'll have to see what happens in the final. In terms of our women's elite semi-finals, well, the first of our semi-finals with Saya Sakakibara and Zoe Claeson's Taya Rufus. Definitely the ones which Saya Sakakibara looked really impressive. We're going to see if she's going to be the rider to take this away. Zoe Claeson, as you can never say, and Cavalli going to have so much home support here.
Yeah, absolutely. Cavalli's, she made a World Championship final as a junior woman. As we look at Taya Rufus of Australia, under 23 World Cup champion. She's jumped straight into the elite ranks. She knows how to win, and she's looked very comfortable from the off. Olympic medalist and 2-time European champion Zoe Claeson's in the red of Switzerland. But the Olympic champion Saya Sakakibara wrapped up a World Cup title here in Santiago del Estero in 2023. She'll be looking to repeat this weekend. Let's see. Gate drops on the first of the elite women's semi-finals. Saya Sakakibara on the inside, but it looks like Zoe Claeson's is going to pick up that whole shot into turn number 1. Claeson's out in front. Where is Taya Rufus? She's in there in 4 at the moment, and that is Paula Reis Santos, the Brazilian rider, who's in there in 3rd spot now, but coming under a little bit of pressure. Rufus has gone round the outside. Cavalli is chasing her down, so the Argentinian in 5th, chasing the Brazilian in there in 4th. Has she got enough time to get the move made? It looks like Reis Santos might just hold on. The Brazilian will make the main event. Claeson's is going to take it at the line. Claeson's gets it from Saya Sakakibara. Taya Rufus in 3, Paula Reis Santos in 4. So Saya Sakakibara 1 step closer to re-securing the World Cup title.
And she's going to want to do that with a win. You don't go through the season, take the World Cup title and not want to take that win. She's so hungry. And after such strength and dominance preceding this season, she's really had to almost do a bit of a reset. It's almost like there was so much going on in her life. She got that title, she was the World Cup winner, and then she's had to do that. It's almost been a year where she started all over again.
Yeah, but the thing with Saya is that she's been consistent all the way through the season. She may not have, won rounds early on, but what she's done is she's been consistent. She's made every main event. She's stacked up those points, and now she's put herself in a position to retain the World Cup title and put it alongside the Olympic title. So smart, consistent riding from Saya Sakakibara. Doesn't have to win all the laps, just has to win the last one. Zoe Claeson's taking it to the line. Taya Rufus in 3. Paula Reis Santos in there in 4. The Brazilian rider will be delighted with that.
So Zoe Claeson's the rider who took the win in round number 1, got a podium in round number 3, and made the finals in rounds 1, 2 and 3. Takes away top spot ahead of Sakakibara and Taya Rufus, going in through Reis Santos as well from Brazil. And those riders will make it into the final. Which 4 riders will be joining them? Well, the riders just making their way up to the gate here in Santiago del Estero. 4 riders left to make our finals. Who's it going to be? Would you want to bet against Bethany Shraver here? It's a track that she's going to remember. Will it be for the right reasons? Let's see if she can make that final.
Yeah, this semi-final is stacked. Winner of 28 World Cups, Laura Smulders of the Netherlands. She's got the world champion Bethany Shriver right there next to her. Molly Simpson, who's already won a World Cup this season. So that's just 3 of the riders up there, and there is Laura Smulders, 28 World Cup wins to her name. She'd love to make it 29 here in Santiago del Estero, but she's got so much fast, skilled company, including Bethany Shriver of Great Britain, newly crowned world and European champion. She's hit such a rich vein of form, and she wants to carry it through to a World Cup title if she can. And there is Molly Simpson, who's already picked up a World Cup win in 2025. So much speed about to leave the gates.
Okay, riders,
Gate drops, semi-final number 2 is go. Molly Simpson's got an absolute flyer as Laura Smulders on the inside. Bethany Shrever's been shuffled back. She's in there in about 5th at the moment, but as she proved in that World Cup semi-final, she can work her way through the pack, and here she comes up into 4th. She's looking for the 3rd, but meanwhile out in front, Laura Smulders looking very, very good. Molly Simpson now under pressure from Bethany Shrever, so Shrever's come from 5th to 4th to 3rd. Peyton Rydnor's in there as well as they go in and out of the final turn, but Laura Smulders is going to take it to the line. Will Bethany Shrever pin Molly Simpson at the stripe? Yes, she did. Shrever takes the 2, Simpson for the 3, Delaney Vaughan rounding out the top 4, just pinching that spot away from her compatriot Peyton Rydnor, but Laura Smulders is looking very, very good.
Absolutely phenomenal. I mean, that gap by the time that she came off the turn onto the 3rd straight there, it already opened, and then she just kept on going. I mean, she had room to spare there. The time almost identical, within almost a 10th of a second of Zoe Clayton's time. In fact, a 10th of a second quicker for Smulders, and you just feel she had some more if she had been pushed.
Yeah, Laura Smulders, she's kind of had a quiet couple of years, but she seems to have just brought herself way back into the World Cup standings, and certainly looking like the Laura Smulders of 4 to 5 years ago, even though, you know, she won her first Olympic bronze medal when she was 18 years old. She's been doing this for such a long time. Molly Simpson in there in 2, but Bethany Shrever once again, she's found these pack riding skills. She's worked her way through. She was in 5th or 6th at one point as they came out of turn number 1. We get to the line. Bethany Shrever's in there in 2. She's unlocked a brand new set of skills, and she's made another World Cup main event.
So you can see Smulders, Shriver, Simpson and Vaughan, the riders going through right now. Kelstrup and Zero, the riders are not making it into our finals, not into that last 8 that's so critical for the point scores in those overall standings. 500 points for taking away the win in our finals, 430 for second, 370 for third, and it then drops down, but you can see the big point scores right up at the top. So getting that win, getting right in, absolutely critical. So it's time for us to move from our semi-finals and head across towards our finals here today. So here in Santiago del Estero, round 5 of 6 rounds of the UCI BMX Racing World Cup. Our men's under 23 will be coming up, and we're going to see just who can challenge. Can anybody take away? When we've seen Jason Nordam be deposed once, can he be deposed again? He doesn't need to win this to take away the series win overall. That is done, but races are races, and they want to win.
Yep, all stacked up here in this under 23 final. So much action, so much drama about to unfold as we move down and look at the riders. Gate 7, Sebastian Aguilera of Chile. You got Alexander ML in gate number 8. Gate 6, that belongs to Thomas Palmazano Ceballos of Colombia. South America well represented here in Argentina. He's winding the fans up. Gate number 5 on the 502 out of Denmark, it is Marcus Leth. Looking very calm and in control. I'm waiting for the fans to go absolutely wild for the rider in gate number 4. It's Federico Capello. Gate 3, your second Danish rider in this men under 23 final is Jonas Itzkoff. Gate 2 on the 501 out of France, it's Mathis Jacquet. And on the inside, the European champion on the 500, wrapping up the World Cup title, it's Jason Nordam. And the fans will fall silent for the start of the first final. It's the men under 23.
Okay, riders, random start. Riders ready, watch the gate.
It's the under-23 final here, round 5 of the UCI BMX Racing World Cup. Jason Nordam heading for the first turn and picking up the whole shot. So he's in there in 1. That looks like let in 2. Jacquet's in there in 3. Itzkoff's been shuffled back a little bit. He's battling with Federico Capello. Capello's in there in that 4th spot right now, chasing down Jacquet as they go towards the final turn. Oh, Nordam's made a mistake. That's taken out the Danish rider as well. Oh, all mixed up in the final corner. Jacquet's under pressure at the line. Is he going to hold it? Jacquet and Capello, photo finish. Will have to wait for timing and scoring, but it looked like Nordam took his eye off the ball for a split second and it all changed.
Oh, what a... That just the speed at which that happened. I mean, to pick yourself back up again from that real attack there by Mathis Jacquet. The commentator teams will be having a look at no confirmed results as yet. Jacquet, the rider who had the most to gain here, he's 4th place in the series overall coming in. This is going to push him right the way up the standings. It should be pushing him up into 2nd place overall, and that is going to be really, really key. You can see Capello absolutely over the moon. He's in here. He's getting the shouts of the crowd. Now, Jacquet and Capello were very, very close indeed. I have them here separated by what is 0.02 of a second. So you can see Capello celebrating like he's got the win. Jacquet, according to my screen, being slightly ahead, but we'll take that under advisement at the moment. Nordam in 3, Emil in 4. But you can see Capello saluting the crowd who have been cheering him along, and so critical in the racing here at Santiago del Estero.
Yep, gate dropped. And it looked like business as usual for Jason Nordam. He got the start of a lifetime. He had Mathis Jacquet right there with him. And it looked like Jonas Itzkoff was working his way across. But Nordam taking the whole shot. Capello was in there just battling away. And he was in that 4th spot chasing down Mathis Jacquet. Emil was in that 2nd position. But as they came out of the turn, this is where Jason Nordam just overjumped slightly, made the mistake. Took down the Danish rider as well. That allowed Jacquet to work his way in, but he lost a little bit of momentum. And here came Capello as they brought it to the line. Literally just a fraction in it. We've got it down as Mathis Jacquet taking the win. We'll wait for the official confirmation. Capello taking the applause of the home fans.
And really interesting, Rich, just taking a look back at that. Itzkoff going down and having issues, but Leth as well, because the bike catapulting through the field, then taking out both Danes. So that incident pushed both Danes out of the race, and you can see them down at the bottom there. They made the final, but 7th and 8th position. It is Mathis Jacquet confirmed as our race winner of round number 5 in the men's under-23 final. That's going to push him right up through those standings. Jason Nordam, well, those points are going to be added to his total, but he's untouchable up at the top. Jacquet moving his way up into 2nd. Good day for them. Great ride by Capello as well. And you can see the handshakes there as the riders are in and out the line. Fantastic riding, great racing. The under-23s always throw everything, including the kitchen sink pretty much, at the racing. Rich, that attitude is fantastic to see. Let's get ourselves down. Let's hear some words from our awesome riders.
Mathis, many congratulations. Tell us your emotions after winning today's final.
Yeah, sorry for everyone, I don't really speak English, but yeah, it's my first World Cup. It's my first time in Santiago del Estero too. The place is awesome, track 2, and yeah, that's amazing. Thank you.
Thank you. And now some words for our French viewers. Quelques mots en français sur la victoire d'aujourd'hui, s'il vous plaît.
Je sais que vous me regardez et voilà, je voulais juste vous remercier pour tout, BMX Besançon, les sponsors, Inspire, et voilà, on l'a fait.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you.
Thank you.
So fantastic to hear from our winner there. Matthew Jacquet with a first win. Fantastic to see. Moves him up into second place in those standings. He overtakes Joshua Jolly with Nordam in that top spot. Pikanowski dropping down, so is Jesse Asmus. And you can see well worth that trip. Matthew Jacquet into second place. And now going to be very difficult for anybody to challenge him, because probably his nearest challenger was going to be Marcus Leth. Leth not finishing that. Maturana was the one after that. He hasn't finished as well. Big difference. Big differences in those points. So that's our men's under 23 done. Time to move on.
At the end,
Like second straight wasn't really good. Just overshot first one. Came a bit short on second one. Then I just had to go on the pedals in the second straight, and then, yeah, I just fucked up.
sorry for our viewers who heard that, but one answer please in Dutch on winning the overall title.
Ik ben super blij dat ik de overal heb gewonnen. Ik kon het net niet genoeg finishen, maar op naar morgen.
Thank you very much.
Alright.
So apologies to anybody offended by any of the language. Our riders, well, they're starting off their careers. I'm sure media training will be on its way along with that win. But it's no surprise the emotion is there for our youngsters. So once again, if anybody's offended by any of the language from any of our riders, our apologies. Obviously, we do try and keep it within the bounds that everybody finds acceptable. But of course, there's emotions running high. Jason Nordam has been so good this season, and he's wrapped up the win. You know, he can't be touched. He's such a rider. He's going to be on the podium again. Well, let's take a look at our top three. So here we go. Jason Nordam taking away third place, not to be his win here today. Federico Capella taking away a second place. And Matthew Jacquet taking away a win. Great ride by Jacquet there, Rich.
Yeah, Mathieu Jacquet certainly taking that first World Cup win and doing a great job of it. He was under pressure from Federico Capello as they came down towards that finish line. Literally just 200s in it, but it was the 200s that counted. And Mathieu Jacquet, top of the podium, taking the win, and all smiles.
So Jason Nordam in third, Federico Capello in second, and Matthew Jacquet in first. Our first three podium riders at round 5 of the BMX Racing World Cup from Santiago del Estero. Great racing, great riding. We've still got 3 more finals to come. Next final is going to be our women's under 23 final. Another star-studded field with Michelle Vissing now, another of our guaranteed winners by making it through the semi-finals intact in one piece, which is not always that straightforward, but she's done so. She now has the title, but it's the battle behind that will be unfolding between the rest of the riders in the under 23 women's competition. Of them, Lily Greenhoff and Emily Hutt, the real sort of the riders fighting for what is second and third place. They're the big riders we expect to figure here.
Yeah, it is. Emily Hutt didn't quite have the World Championship that she wanted, so she's going to be looking to make up for that as we take a look at the rider out in gate number 8. It seems to be one that she selects quite regularly, and it is the European champion, Veronika Stariska out of Latvia. Just looking nice and calm and focused and in control. Settled out there in gate number 8. She's won so many titles, European titles, world titles at various different levels.
And she's 9th in the series. A good ride today is going to push her right the way up. She's potentially got a top 2 available to her. If she can take away a couple of wins here, she could be second, she could be on that podium. So could Maura Cordero, another rider, currently 7th place overall. She could be challenging Hutt and Greenhoff as well.
Yeah, Alexandra Simashkina, the neutral athlete in gate number 6. Alexis Alden of the USA had a superb World Championships. She's in there in gate number 5. And in the rainbow stripes of the world champion, it is Michelle Vissing, got the World Cup title wrapped up. So the pressure is off. And from New Zealand, gate number 3, Lily Greenhoff. And in gate number 2 for Great Britain, on the 502, it's Emily Hutt. and a rider who's already had 2 wins on this track in Santiago del Estero in 2023. It's Ava Cawley of the USA. So the women under 23 final ready to go. The riders are poised atop the gates. Let's see who's going to be atop the podium. Women under 23 final heading down the hill. Oh, Ava Cawley didn't get the start she wanted. She's right out of the back of the pack. And look who's working her way into that second spot. It's Michelle Vissing, but she's got Lily Greenoff to deal with. Greenoff, Vissing, Alden. That is your 1, 2, 3 at the moment as they head towards that turn. Where is Emily Hutt of Great Britain? She's in there in about 5th at the moment as they head down towards the final corner. Greenoff's been overhauled by Michelle Vissing. The exact same move as the semi-final. So the world champion, the World Cup winner, she's going to take the main event win in round number 5. Michelle Vissing states her dominance, takes the win. Greenoff in 2, Alden in 3, Emily Hutt rounding out the top 4.
Well, Shimaskina taking what is, I think, going to be a 5th place. They're calling, moving away up through that race field, despite that terrible start off the gate, but no doubting our winner here today, Michelle Vissing, absolutely flying. Carbon copy move, really down where she finds that extra speed on that straight. She's just waiting and waiting, and then it's just go time.
Yeah, it's patience from Michelle Vissing. She's so patient. You know, she knows where she needs to make that move. She knows where the strength comes through. Lily Greenoff was leading it into the turn. Michelle Vissing just sat there, waited for an opportunity. There was some elbows banging as they came out of turn number 1, and this is where Michelle Vissing said, right, it's time for me to go. Moved herself across, made the move, dropped herself in front of Lily Greenoff going into that final corner. Meanwhile, Alexis Alden was having a battle with Emily Hutt for that final spot on the podium. But Michelle Vissing, your World Cup champion for 2025, bringing it across the line. Exclamation point, job done.
Well and truly job done. What a rider. That's now 5 wins out of 5 rounds for Michelle Vissing. 33.410 her time. Greenoff, the challenger behind. In front, didn't quite have enough to take the win, but that's going to add to her points total, taking away that second place. That's going to push her up to second in the standings overall. Good race, so had Maura Cordera, but not enough to challenge. Maura Cordera coming through in the end in 8th place. Stariska in 7th, Cawley in 6th. But Michelle Vissing is just, at the moment, a class apart.
Yeah, absolutely unstoppable in the women under 23 class, but we've got so many exciting riders coming up. You know, Lily Greenoff, she had a great World Championships in Copenhagen. Can't wait to see what she's got.
So fantastic racing, fantastic running, and we're going to see whether those riders are going to be changing, and Vissing goes up and goes down, because that's what happens in the under 23. It's that differences in age, as we've seen. Well, let's hear from our race winner and the World Cup winner.
Michelle, congratulations, another victory. But first of all, let's talk about the overall title, because you have confirmed today you are the overall World Cup winner in the under-23 category. Talk to us about your feelings and emotions on securing the title.
Yeah, I'm really happy with it. 5 out of 5 also. Winning the overall ranking, yeah, it's amazing.
You've won every round of the World Cup this season. You are the world under-23 champion. You had your work to do today. How did you come through to make it 5 out of 5 in the World Cups?
Yeah, my day started not really good, but made it to the final, and yeah, I win it. But yeah, I don't know how, but I did it.
And now can we please have one answer in Dutch about winning the overall season title and also your win today?
Ik ben heel erg blij mee om de overall ranking te winnen en vijfde gewonnen. 5e keer gewonnen.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, what a ride, what a winner. She didn't know how she did it. I'm sure she and the coaches will take a look back and go, yeah, let's just have more of this, please. You know, what a rider.
Yeah, what a rider. You know, been absolutely looking amazing all through the season. 5 wins from 5. The world champion as well. completely unstoppable Michel Vissing of the Netherlands. You can't ask for a better season than that.
No, well, I'm sure she'll be wanting one more win. One more win in the World Cup, make it a perfect score. Great riding today here by Alexis Alden in the right place, right time. The United States of America rider taking third place. Lily Greenhoff takes away second for New Zealand, with the Netherlands Michel Vissing, the world champion, the World Cup winner, and the winner of round number 5 here in Santiago del Estero. The UCI BMX Racing World Cup Under 23 titles are wrapped up. The places behind are not, and that is going to come down to our very last race in round 6 here in Santiago del Estero. Before that, well, we have our men's elite and our women's elite finals to go, and they promise to be action-packed. And in this, while the titles are by no means decided, the men's elite, Cameron Wood, Arthur Pillard and Sylvain Andre, separated by 492 points. And whilst that sounds a lot, 2 wins is 1,000 points. So 492 is not insurmountable, but Wood and Pillard have to displace Andre. He's got to finish loader, and they've got to keep on doing that again at the next round. They've got their work cut out to take that top spot, but all of those positions up for grabs realistically within the top 5 for people out and racing the rounds. One rider almost thanking his lucky stars for getting through. I think Simon Marquardt.
Yep, Simon Marquardt of Switzerland, the 2022 Elite Men World Champion, out there in gate number 8. Gate number 7 from Chile, Mauricio Molina Vergara. Gate number 6, the crowd will go wild for the local guy, Federico Villegas. Gate number 5, Olympic medalist, joker in the BMX pack, it is Sylvain Andre. Gate number 4, hit the World Championship podium in Copenhagen and has taken a World Pump Track title as well, it's Eddie Clerté. Gate number 3, the USA BMX Pro Series champion on the 12 plate, it's Cameron Woods. Gate number 2 took a win here in 2019, he'd love to repeat again, it's Gonzalo Molina. And right on the inside, gate number 1, the 2025 Elite Men World Champion, it's Arthur Pillard. 8 of the fastest BMX racers in the world lined up for the Elite Men final, round 5 of the UCI BMX Racing World Cup. Who's going to take the win? Who's going to take the points? We are about to see.
Okay, riders, random start. Riders ready, watch the gate.
Here we go with the Men Elite final, heading down the hill. Arthur Pillard's got an absolute flyer into the turn. Cameron Wood diving on the inside. Where is Sylvain Andre? He's in there at about 5th at the minute. Eddie Clerté is getting involved as well. And the Argentinian Molina trying to get in there. I think he's in that second spot. Oh, one rider's hit the deck. I've got a feeling it was Villegas who went down. Here comes the 59 of Molina. He's trying to get in there. He's trying to catch the rider out in front. He's not going to touch Arthur Pillard. Pillard takes it. Molina in 2. Cameron Wood in 3. Sylvain Andre rounding out the top 4. But you've got a feel for Federico Villegas. He was right there and ended up on the floor. The local favourite couldn't quite get it done, but one rider who did, Arthur Pillard.
Well, you can just see that Federico Villegas just going to just showed the damage that's been done there to the crowd. Arthur Pillard, though, at the moment, the form, I mean, he was so strong. He took that world title in Copenhagen. It was great to see. And then you can just see he is just on it now. He's just got it dialed.
Yeah, because once you've got that world title, it's kind of just unlocks just that next level that's inside you, and you can keep that form going just for a period of time. And Arthur Pillard is a rider who does have that form. He looked absolutely superb coming down the straight. Eddie Clerté was so close. I had my eye on Molina and Villegas. People were making moves. Sylvain Andre was diving underneath in that first turn. And it was at this point that it went wrong for Villegas. I don't know whether he just tapped another rider and just got caught up in the corner. Certainly he's lost some spokes out of the back wheel. and it just disappeared from underneath him, and down he went. Could have been a blowout, but meanwhile Pilar, looks like there was a blowout there for Federico Villegas, but Pilar taking it to the line. Molina, the head went back. He knew he was so close to repeating the win of 2019. Cameron Wood rounding out the top three, but Arthur Pilar taking a World Cup win, stacking it next to the others, and his World Championship title as well.
So sub 30-second lap there by Arthur Pilar to take the win in the men's elite final from Gonzalo Molina in second, and Cameron Wood taking it away at third place. Sylvain Andre, well, he'll have added to his points total, but the scale of points is such that Pilar now has made us up some ground on Andre, and that is going to be really, really critical. Well, great racing by the world champion. I think we can hear from Arthur Pilar now.
Arthur, many congratulations. For our viewers, Arthur does not speak much English, so I will ask some questions in French. Arthur, félicitations sur la victoire d'aujourd'hui. Ça représente quoi pour toi?
C'était une course très importante pour moi. Faire ma première course ici avec le maillot, j'avais envie de bien faire. Et c'est chose faite, donc c'est cool.
Et maintenant, c'est très serré en haut de la classification. Sylvain est encore en première place, mais maintenant, c'est encore plus important, n'est-ce pas?
Oui, Sylvain, j'ai pas regardé le classement, mais oui, il doit être certainement devant. Je l'ai rattrapé un petit peu, et tout va se jouer demain, donc c'est cool.
Merci beaucoup. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So our world champion there saying that this was a very important race for him. His first race in that rainbow jersey since he won that world title, and he was very pleased to take that win. And then asked about that gap again, saying that closing the gap down to Sylvain Andre was a target of his as well. So very pleased with his day. Great day for Arthur Pilar here today, and we can see our top three riders: Cameron Wood, Molina, Gonzalo, as well as Arthur Pilar there. First rider in with those flowers, it is Cameron Wood, and again Cameron Wood doing the business, has managed to close the gap down to Sylvain Andre, but the difference between him and Andre only one place, third to fourth. Great riding by Gonzalez Molina. He will stack a whole load of points in. Started off the day in 29th. He'll have moved right up those series standings. But Arthur Pilar closing the gap down. The world champion taking the win at round number 5. Arthur Pilar of France, the rider who will have pulled the gap down to something even closer. We'll have a look at those standings a little bit later on once the computers have been whirring in the background and put our 50p in the meter. As we move across to the women's elite final here, our last final at round number 5 of the BMX Racing World Cup in Santiago del Estero. Laura Smulders' ride in the semi-finals. She was in a different time zone.
Yeah, she was looking really good. It's like Laura's just, come back to the form that she had a few years ago, and it's just wonderful to see her. She's got 28 World Cup wins. We'd love to see her make it 29. Can she do it here in Santiago del Estero? But when you've got the likes of Zoe Claessens and Saya Sakakibara to deal with, it's not going to be any easy task. In gate number 8 on the 78 plate out of Brazil, making her first World Cup final of the year, it's Paula Reis Santos. Gate number 7 on the 31. It's Delaney Vaughan of the USA. Gate number 6 on the 44. Already had a World Cup win this season. It's Molly Simpson out of Canada. And in gate number 5, your world champion from Copenhagen 2025, European champion as well, it's Bethany Shriver of Great Britain. Gate 4 out of Australia on the 5 plate, the World 5 of Taya Rufus. Gate number 3, your Olympic champion and reigning World Cup champion as well out of Australia, it's Saya Sakakibara. Gate number 2, twice European champion, Olympic medalist from Switzerland, Zoe Claessens. Gate number 1 on the inside for the Netherlands. She was an Olympic bronze medalist way back in 2012. Looking for World Cup win 29, it's Laura Smulders. So the fans get ready for the final here, round 5 of the UCI BMX Racing World Cup, the elite women. Who's going to take that win? Who's going to take that points? and who's going to be on top of the podium.
Okay, riders, random start. Riders ready, watch the gate.
The final here at round number 5 of the UCI BMX Racing World Cup Elite Women, heading down towards that first turn. Who's gonna get it? It looks like Sayasa Kakibara out there in front. That is Zoe Clayson's in there in 2. Looks like one rider's got it wrong going down that second straight, but Australia are out in front. It's the Olympic champion leading it through. That looks like Delaney Vaughan, I think, in there in that 3rd spot. Laura Smulders going through in 4. Bethany Shriver back there in 6. But as they come out of the final turn, Sayasa Kakibara under pressure from Zoe Claysons as they go to the line. Sakakibara gets it, I think. Zoe Claysons in 2. Laura Smulders on the podium in 3, just overhauling Delaney Vaughan. But wow, Sayasa Kakibara taking another win in Argentina.
Oh, it's a happy hunting ground for the rider from Australia here in Argentina.
She's shown through the season, and yeah, amazing scenes here as Saya takes, her first win of the season, but she's one step closer to securing that overall. And certainly, the final round we'll see, if and when she takes the title and just how much it's going to be by. But there's many riders trying to stop her, and nothing's certain in BMX. But Saya Kakibara.
Channeled that energy and just went for it. It wasn't the greatest lap, but I finished first, so I'm very happy.
And you, as you say, you've been consistent all season. You stay at the top of the overall standings. How big is tomorrow now for you?
Oh, super huge. I really want to keep that red number playing and finish the season with being the World Cup champion. So This win is a really big confidence booster, but I know that I'm still going to have to back it up tomorrow.
So many congratulations. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Well, I think that said it all. Confidence booster, but got to back it up. Very pleased with taking the win. And a little surprised, but I love the fact that she channeled that gate 3, thought about how she'd taken that win before, and that's what really propelled her into that positive space that meant she could then make it happen on the day. Yeah,
it's certainly a great mindset tip for the riders out there. Go back to a previous win, bring that energy forward, and take it to a performance on the day.
Well, let's see our top 3 here in the race in our women's elite final here at Santiago del Estero. Taking away a 3rd place already, having one win in the competition so far. Laura Smolders alongside of Zoe Claysons, who took 2nd place here today. She also has a win. She won round number 1. But the winner of round number 5 goes centre stage. It is the World Cup leader, the winner of round number 5, Saya Sakakibara, taking her first win of the 2025 season. A great top 3 and a well-deserved top 3 here at Santiago del Estero for round number 5. Brilliant racing here, Rich, and some fantastic performances and some real mind games going on for riders. I mean, it's great to see people going over the top and producing what was just faster and faster and faster racing. So let's take a look at who managed to get the fastest laps down here today.
Yeah, we're looking at the fastest lap, and it came from Arthur Pilard. So our world champion and a winner of round number 5 of the UCI BMX Racing World Cup. It's put in the fastest lap of the day, and it's certainly something that you would expect from Arthur Pilard, considering the form that he's in. But he had Eddie Clerté, Mathis Rago-Richard and Loris Eberhard to deal with in this particular lap. But there is no stopping the French world champion, putting the laps together, doing what needed to be done, and setting the fastest lap time of the day.
And a sub 30-second lap, absolutely blistering quick for his fastest lap in the finals, 29.898. The time, a fantastic time from him. And remember, that plate, of course, the riders really value that fastest lap plate. So very, very much the case that they are looking for that plate, as well as, of course, that series leaders plate that they get presented with at the podium ceremonies afterwards. So here at Santiago del Estero, we've had some fantastic moments on the way through at round number 5. It's been a real pleasure to watch that racing, to see the riders back in action at the World Cup. And Rich, we've now got one more round to go. We know 2 of our champions, 2 of our winners of the World Cup. We've got 2 winners still to be decided, where okay, one of them's closed the gap, one's extended the gap. It's going to be really close in those elite competitions. But behind, there's lots of battles being fought, and it's so important to those riders.
Yeah, it certainly is. There's so much drama and so many stories to unfold. I can't wait to see what's going to happen in round number 6.
So let's take a look at some of today's best action here in Santiago del Estero. Well, Bethany Shraver, a rider on great form, coming in here off the back of that World Championships. Molly Simpson already having a win here, at the World Cup this season. Another rider on form. Some real battles here today. Any particular riders that have stood out to you that really excelled?
Yeah, certainly Jason Nordam. I know he's under 23, World Cup final at round number 5 here in Santiago del Estero. Did not go to plan, and it just didn't work out for him as we saw. But, he's got the title wrapped up. He's been in imperious form all year long. He's done everything he needed to do. The job's done at the end. He'll be a happy man.
And for me, Michelle Vissing has just shown just why she's such a talent to watch out for. When the moment she moves in that elite, she's going to be somebody that you you know he's going to come in with a bang, because taking, a perfect score of 5 wins and doing that round number 5 here, it's one thing taking a win, but to repeat it time and time again just shows just what a class act she is.
Yeah, Michelle Wissing, she's been unstoppable all year long. She's been so good. She's got to take that to the elite categories at some point, which will probably be in 2026. It won't be a cakewalk for her by any stretch of the imagination, but she's got what it takes to put the cat amongst the pigeons.
And of course, great rides and some really spirited rides. A few riders being taken out or just coming down for Argentina, but still getting the support of the home crowd, which is so important to the riders here. And it's an integral part of BMX, is that crowd support, whether they're watching the world champion or their local club riders.
Yeah, and Federico Capello, he got that support from the crowd here at Santiago del Estero. Didn't quite get the win, but he's the crowd favourite.
So let's get the maths done. Let's see who is going to be at the top of our standings in the men's elite. It is still Sylvain Andre, but the lead has come down. The points gap has been narrowed, and as a quick reminder, it is a win is 500 points, a second place 430, and a third place 370. It's going to be critical what Sylvain Andre, Arthur Pilar and Cameron Wood do tomorrow. Realistically, at this stage, they are going to be your top 3, but in what order? Sayaka Bara extending her lead at the top, but it is not insurmountable. But would you want to bet against Sayaka Bara defending that lead now that she's taken that first win? Behind Clayson, Smolder, Simpson and Shriver will be battling it out once again, looking to see who is going to be on that podium, who's going to be taking away that second and third place if Sayaka Bara does take the top spot. One man who's secured in that top spot, Jason Nordham in the under-23, behind Jacquet moving into second place, and that now means that he's not going to be touched for that. It's going to be a pretty untouchable top 2 there. Michelle Vissing, well, she's secure in the top spot. Lily Greenough and Emily Hutt, you can see the gap between them, not a huge amount. It's a slightly different point scoring regime in the under-23 competition. 165 points for the win, 142 for second, 122 points for third, so the gaps are just a little bit smaller in between, but of course smaller gaps between all of those riders as well. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out. I hope you will be joining us to see how it all unfolds at round number 6 here in Santiago del Estero in Argentina, this fantastic home for the finale of the World Cup for 2025. Rich, it's been an absolute pleasure to be back at the World Cups once again. They never disappoint, and some fantastic performances. I'm sure you're looking forward to our next race.
Oh, absolutely. Looking forward to round number 6 at Santiago del Estero, Argentina. The World Cup, BMX racing, it always delivers.
It certainly does. We will be seeing who's going to take away those titles under pressure in the men's and women's elite races. We're going to be seeing who is able to transfer that track speed into results here on a track that has claimed a number of riders here today, has taken them out of contention and confirmed some of our World Cup winners already. We'll be back here in Santiago del Estero for round 6. Don't forget you can catch up with all of the race results on the UCI website. That's www.uci.org. And don't forget to click on to the BMX racing discipline, and you can catch up with all of those race results and all the great action as well. We'd love to see you down at your local BMX track. Make sure you get on board that bike. Make sure you get down to your local track. Give them some support, whether you're riding, whether you're one of our superb volunteers who make the sport happen, whether you're one of our commissaires or whether you're just going to be down there enjoying the atmosphere. Rich and I will be back for round number 6. A pleasure putting words to the action. Enjoy whatever you're doing between round 5 and round 6, but from Rich and I, goodbye.